Hey guys, Banana Luck here. Welcome back to another Watch Our Rams video. So back with a video on Oren, and this time around we'll be focusing on all the other content that we couldn't cover in the previous video because we didn't want to make it too long. And the first content that probably people are thinking about is going to be Matrix, because for once we have Arbiters doing physical damage as the Lord coming into the game. And it's been looking good so far because we've been seeing very high scores on test servers being rotated around. I have fellow test server users reaching scores upwards of 130k, which is pretty much unheard of in the past, but now we're seeing those kind of crazy damages coming out. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it and show you guys what this team can do. And yeah, this is a very big change because we've always struggled to get high scores on physical side, and Oren seems to be the game changer that we needed to get to these numbers. So put down the units here first, Leikan next, and then we're gonna do Guan Yu here, followed by this, and then let's put this down with, let's see, do Astrid on the side, Elder over here, followed by Adrian, and then let's just get things started here. So far, looking so good. The good thing about this team is that every ultimate is manual now. So we don't have to worry about ultimates going off at the wrong time. And right before the first focus strike, we're going to just proc the Adrian ultimate. And once it's done, we proc the rest of the ultimates here. As well as Kira's. Go, as well as the Arbiter Hammer down. Okay, we're just going to be doing as much damage as we can. See how low we can bring the numbers to. Close to 0. 10 counts there. Let's see. Before the next focus strike, proc the skills, and I'm gonna get the rest of the skills out. Then let's do Durza, and now we're just waiting. Proc Akira's, as well as the hammer. See how high the scores can go. Pretty crazy stuff because yeah, we're definitely not used to seeing such high scores back in the past. But now we're able to see those numbers just with Oren being the addition alone. Right, now we're gonna have to proc Adrian's ultimate again. And then yeah, Akira's ultimate once more. Once the Pack of Silence bar hits out, I'm gonna get the hammer down again. Just wait for the second focus strike. That's where we're gonna cast Adrian's ultimate. And then I'm gonna cast the rest. Akira, followed by the hammer, and then we have the clone coming back out in time. So this is a pretty good halfway mid score. It's about 70k. Even on my own personal account, Magic is hitting about 70k when we hit 330. So that's a good proxy to see where the run will eventually end at. Because normally the midway point is where you will get to eventually. But let's see. Continue on with the run. Second focus strike. So I'm going to proc the ultimate on Adrian. So you can tank through that. And then we're going to get the rest of the ultimates out here. Followed by Durza. Then we're going to get Akira's ultimate out as well. And yeah, managed to get the clone out here still. So let's see. Probably going to stay there past the Pack of Silence, which is not ideal, but let's see. And I'm gonna get one more focus strike here. Proc the ultimates. And then we're gonna get the rest of the units going. And yeah, this time around I'm not gonna get the Akira clone out in time, but I think it's fine. It is what it is. I'm gonna drop it halfway through the Pack of Silence because that's just not gonna be ideal. There you go. And now we get another Adrian ultimate. Just before the focus strike. Get the rest of the stuff going. Hammer down. And see, score is still at 187, which is pretty okay. Not too far off. Then get another Adrian ultimate here. Drop this. There you go. Get the Akira clone out as well. Yeah, we're seeing a score about 123k, hopefully. 123, yeah. Not the best score, if I can be honest, but as I said, I'm not a Matrix specialist. This is not what I excel in. And I also removed Mina out of the mix because I felt like maybe she's not going to be as good anymore, given that you don't actually have units to steal damage from anymore in that particular lineup. I can see from the rest of the damage charts here, Oren is definitely up here, along with Leikan. And then we have Akira followed by Guan Yu on the side here. Adrian doing pretty decently well as well. And then Astrid at the bottom along with Elder. These two are supporting units at this point, so I'm not too surprised there. Definitely a much higher score can be achieved, but because of my skill issue, then yeah, we're probably not going to get something much better. Yeah, this is not surprising. And yeah, one of the first content that we're testing, and we're definitely going to be seeing more of him coming along in other contents. So let's get into the other aspects of it without further ado. Alright, the other area we're going to test out Oren in is going to be AMR. This is not as good of a stage for him here because we lack Rage Regen, which limits how much damage he can get off, and we are also lacking what do you call that? We're also lacking heals to build up the Rage Regen stacks on Oren himself. And last but not least, his Tau is one range forward, which is not exactly the best option we have here. A lot of other units would do a lot better here just from the fact that they can hit all 3 Taus alone. So think of units like Ezra, for example. It's going to do way better here. I'm going to pop the ultimate here. And then we're also going to bring in Draylin. Then we can do Sergei. And bring down the ultimate. Play out these guys. Yeah. Once these units are coming through, we can go ahead to put down Goldrock in a bit here. Pop the Constance ultimate. Get rid of the shield. I'm gonna bring Draylin to the side here. And I'm gonna bring in another round of Goldrock. I'm gonna put Gun at the back just as back up. I get that 60% threshold. Oops, not enough. Possibly get another gold drug spawn here, but I'm waiting on the vulnerability to go off before we do anything. Here we can pop another Valara out. Pop Drailing out, pop the ultimate. There we go, and then you can put down the rest of the units. And we should have one more gold drug spawn here, which will line up nicely. Pop the Oren ultimate, along with the Zap, because we have a very big wave coming through here. There we go. I think we're just one last gold drug spawn left. Should be able to get it done. Tiny bit left here. There we go. So you can see not the most ideal spawns at the bottom lane there where we only had Drailing. We still had to, rely on quite a bit of RNG for things to proc at the right time, but Oren still comes in strong with the highest damage dealt here. During his ultimate, he does amazingly well there. If let's say there was some ground unit that could provide rich regen as a tank as well, I could potentially see a very different run where, he would do very well if we can get his ultimate every time, one of the units is coming through. He's definitely going to be able to tank through that. And then on the top right hand there, Sergei and Goldrak can be replaced with Kikiri Wukong obviously, but just don't want to faff around too much with that. So I took the easy way out here with both A5 Sergei and Goldrak. But yeah, definitely showing potential here. He's going to be one of the good options to have if you don't have Azeroth or if you don't have Rosalia. If you don't have those two units at High Awakening, you might struggle a bit, but with Oren and Valara, I think you should do a lot better here. So yeah, that's AMR 29. Now let's move on to the next content here. Alright, next area we're going to test out is Gear Dungeon 3. We did briefly cover this in the video where we were showcasing Janus Grismore, but I think we wanted to just revisit it and show you guys again how good he is here, and just from the amount of burst damage that he can do and the fact that he covers both lanes as well. He does not have any offensive dispel, that's the only downside, but if he did, I think he'll be way too broken. Let's get in and show you guys the stage. I haven't cleared stage 13 here, so I'm not going to show that because it's too much faffing around even with max awakenings. You do need really good gear, which I currently lack on this account, so we're just gonna show you guys at stage 11 how good he is. Because in my original video, I actually did him at A0 and he worked just fine. Just check if he's A0 here. I may be using the A5 copy, which would then not give you a good full picture. Yeah, that's the A5 one. Let's bring that out. I'll show you guys the A1 feature, and that should tell you guys just how good he is. If he performs well even at A1, right? So let's swap that out. Let's do it again. So the way that it works with him is very straightforward. It's kind of similar to Nurture, where we'll just wait for, you know, the units to come in, Gretchen to get full stacks, and then we'll do the purge, and then we just rinse and repeat all the way. This is a bit different from AMR because he gets Earlist, giving him rage regen constantly. So that makes quite a big difference in terms of the damage output because he's able to do it much more frequently compared to, you know, AMR. The shields, and then we get the ultimate here, so we're just going to hit and pop that. You can see, yeah, just like that, half of the health is gone. Before you know it, these guys are dead. I can assure you Nurture has nowhere that level of power at A3 even. So this is a significantly big jump in terms of output compared to what we had previously. Get the shields up, rock the ultimate. And let's get the ultimate here as well. Pop that out, and then now we're gonna start putting in the rest of the units. And with Gwendolyn last. There we go. And yeah, that's all down, and now we just wait. Cast the King has shield. We'll do Gwendolyn's. And then we'll proc the ultimate here. Should clear out those guys easily. And see we almost have rage up on these two guys. Proc the ultimate. Get the Oren ultimate and just zap away. There you go. Get the shields off here. And we'll get the correction ultimate there. Thinking if I should proc the ultimate here. I think we'll just do it just in case. Don't want too many of these units stacking up together. Another round of the impacts. So we're gonna do the ultimates here. The ultimate. Oren ultimate should be up shortly. So proc that once more, along with the Lord skill. Now we just wait again. And now we're gonna get another round of the shields. So I'm gonna proc that all up. I'm gonna get the Berserker out. Unfortunately, he died there, so we're gonna have to put down Valderon. And see that my top lane is the problem more than anything. The ultimate there. I honestly don't think I'm gonna be able to clear top. This Kikiri died there, but I'm just gonna show the bottom lane anyways. You can see how good Oren is even at A0. Yeah, the top right hand is indeed the issue here. Okay, we get the Drillin out there, but here he's coming back, but I think it's kind of too late. Guy's getting stunned. Yeah, the rest of the units are gonna die here, so I'm not even gonna bother. Just let them lick through, but yeah. Now let's take a quick look at damage charts here. I think Kigiri got too much stacks of bleed, so he's dying very quickly. But yeah. Oren is actually not the top damage dealer here. It is actually Gretchen instead. But I do seem to think that I actually use Gretchen at A5 instead of A0. So that might explain the gap here. Because otherwise, Oren is typically the highest damage dealer. Let me just check. Yeah, my Gretchen was A5, that's why. If we take a look at the previous test that we did, no, this is updated, so we're not even gonna get to be able to see the full extent of what Oren can do. But Oren is definitely the MVP here in terms of clearance. If, let's say, we drop Gretchen's Awakening down to A0, I'm sure Oren will be the one taking the lead in terms of the damage instead. And for sure, he's going to be useful all the way up to A3, especially when you start to get more Awakenings on him. Right now, he's only A0 single faction, and he's still doing crazy amounts of work there. So yeah, that's the feature for Gear Dungeon 3. Now let's move on to the last bit, which is going to be Malrik Trials, to see where he can do the most damage there. Alright, the next area we're going to test out Oren in is going to be Malrik Trials, and we're going to test out Molten Trials specifically because he's one of the physical, probably the best physical AOE damage dealers at the moment, and the Abyssal Beholders are always the most cancerous ones, especially the ones with 200% HP. So we're going to head in here, and we're going to try out this team to see how well it works. If it does well, then potentially that's what we need to, you know, tackle this sort of teams in the future. So let's get in. And how we'll do it is we'll do Oren on the side together with Lady Mina as well as Diao Chan. Then we'll leave that as is. Then on the next deployments, we'll just put down these two units. Put down Nerissa. And then yeah, let's see what we can do here. Deployment tiles. So I'm not gonna pop the ultimates yet because it's not gonna be in range. We're gonna let the units walk out before we do anything. A slow and steady thing. So once these guys pop out, we're gonna get the ultimates off. And as these guys spawn at the back, they're gonna become collateral damage as well, which I think is a good thing. And then we're gonna get the Kira ultimate off. There you go. Again, another round of the Eova ultimate here. We should take out these guys. I haven't put down the clone here to help out a bit. Should be able to clear it just fine. There you go. And these guys are coming out again. Pop the ultimates. And I can see they just get deleted almost instantly. I think he is by far going to be the best physical damage dealer for the Abyss Beholders. Now, we do have the ones with the idle state as well, which can be quite annoying to deal with. The ones where they just move off right away. I think if you have that in the mix, then the action here is probably to, you know, bring in a Mari as well to help slow them down. Coupled with Mina, we should be able to take down those units in time as well. Get these guys away. Pop the ultimate. There you go. And those guys are moving out again. We pop the ultimates. And yeah, they just get deleted instantly there. Go. These guys are moving in. We're gonna pop the Akira ultimate. Fail these guys. And then we'll get the ultimate on Eova again. Idea here is just to take out the scholars. Because once you stack 2 copies of them, they do get pretty difficult to kill. So yeah. We'll do that. The guy goes down. And then once they move in, Akira is just gonna finish them off. Then we have the top lane coming in again. Pop the ultimate. There you go, you can see 1 million damage being done out by Mina as well. Very good stuff. Pop the Mina ultimate, sorry, Akira ultimate, as well as Valara. And just like that, we're already on the last wave here. I think we should be fine. Rock the Akira ultimate, sorry, the clone. And just let these guys move off. Pop the ultimate again. As well as this. Yeah, now we're just waiting for the rest of the units to come in. Once we have them, we're just gonna pop Akira's ultimate. And yeah, this guy should be taken care of really quickly. I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably place Mina facing left here as well, and then that way you can also hit these scholars at the back, because otherwise they're kind of in an awkward position here. Just pop the ultimate to finish them off. See what the final damage charts look like. So Oren definitely is going to come in handy for Molten Trials, as well as the Mossy ones, because he's probably going to be able to solo one lane on his own. The only downside to that is that, you know, potentially you're not going to be able to get the air units sorted out since he cannot hit air. Only Anathema can actually hit air with those procs, and without Radiant Erosion, that kind of is, you know, not as relevant anymore. So I'm not going to showcase the Mossy Trials because I don't have a good level 4 stone, and I don't want to do a level 3 one because those are just freaking easy anyways. So yeah, that's it for Malrik's. Now let's move on to wrap up the video. So that's Oren's showcase of all the areas where I think he could potentially be used. Now there are actually much more areas like the new Conquest Immortal Codex Hard Challenge mode. That one on the bottom lane, I think he could do really well there as well. And then we also have the Conqueror's Codex. And potentially any other new codexes that come up, he might be a key unit there for the amount of physical damage that he dishes out. But we can't test those because Codex is closed at the moment. So we can only test in the areas where, you know, it's evergreen content that's always on. So yeah, Oren is gonna be Arbiter as well, so if let's say you have an Arbiter ring to pair with him, plus Unstoppable Force, that's just gonna be 10% attack post-deployment. I think it makes up for the fact that his attack is slightly lower than usual, but it's still not something to, you know, to worry about because the amount of true damage he puts out is actually insane. And if we talk about awakenings, I still feel that A3 is the biggest awakening, just from the 35% penetration that you get from the get-go. A5 is nice, but the multiplier increase that you get is a 50% for the physical damage, 50% for true damage. Not saying it's not significant, but I think it's a much smaller jump compared to A3. And then A1 has 2 attacks of Reprimand where he does that stack of Radiant Erosion. So basically when he does his ultimate on A1, he is going to trigger Anathema for sure after he procs the Radiant Erosion twice. And then A2 is flat attack, which is always nice. And then A4 I think is just extra utility. This is for sure going to trigger Anathema because you're going to get 3 stacks in total. And the 3-second stun might come in pretty handy for GVG. I'm not a GVG player by any degree, so I'm not going to run any tests of him there. But what I've heard is that he is going to be pretty meta there because the AoE damage he dishes out is just going to destroy a lot of the swarming that he can do. And the true damage and stuns that he provides is also going to destroy the Grotesque Fiend pretty easily. And combined with the fact that he has a pretty nice base HP, you can probably park him in the back of a tank even though he has that many tiles ahead of him. It just opens up a lot more possibilities now that we have a unit that's really good at AoE damage, and the fact that there's Anathema that detonates the Radiant Erosion. So it pairs really well with the units like Valara, where once they enter Valara's attack range, they get hit with Radiant Erosion, and then what Oren is going to do is to just detonate that. And I think the one other big thing is the Lord skill. The amount of mini stuns that take place whenever he casts any of this, it's going to be very, very annoying when you're thinking of GVG, because that's going to stop units like Grotesque Fiend, because you know that they are vulnerable to stuns, and this is going to just drop down 5 stacks of stun on top of each other while still having to deal with Valara's knockback. So GVG is definitely an area that you're going to see him being used for sure, but I think the biggest change that we'll see is Arena, as well as the Codex challenges. In the other areas, we already have units that can replace him, like Nurcha for, Gear Dungeon 3, and then for AMR with Azeroth and Rosalia, but he is going to be one of the new units that you can add in the mix. So yeah, that's going to be it for the video. If you have anything else that you'd like to test, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like or subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.